Peace and light, family. How's everyone doing today? I definitely hope everyone is having a great day. I hope everyone is working toward their goals, whatever that may be, and that you are writing it down on paper, going over it every day, and putting in action steps every single day to help you reach that bigger goal. That's how it gets achieved, is by you doing the quote unquote little steps. Ain't no real little steps, but that's going to help you get to that big goal, right? Alrighty, so with that being said, I just want to give a little warning. I know today's topic is going to have a lot of people probably disagreeing with me on this, and I feel like a lot of my topics do, so it is what it is. But I definitely invite loving and understanding energy into this conversation. I know it's not a very big opinion or a very big perception or way to look at things, especially coming from women, but this is just something that I have realized over time, looking at the actual situations that are at hand with this topic, and looking at the numbers, and looking at how it's been working out for us. So understand that this conversation requires you, especially women, I'm talking to us because I know this is going to emotionally upset more of us than it will the men. And this is not about no pick me, no none of that crap y'all like to holler whenever a woman, says something that y'all may not agree with or y'all may have a different view of. This is me as a woman, as a mother, setting my emotions aside and looking at the actual facts and the logic of this whole standpoint. So with that being said, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is about fathers having custody of their sons once the mother and the father split from a relationship, a marriage, or whatever the case is. Now, I know a lot of y'all already have feathers ruffled up just by hearing that. But please understand what I'm saying and listen throughout the message, listen to the end and hear me out with what I have to say on this. Please also understand that in order to receive this message, I know it's not going to reach everybody. And I also know and I'm well aware that everybody's situation is different and this isn't even an option for everybody. So please, that's only for those that this is an option too. But understand, in order to receive this message in its entirety, that you have to set your emotions aside. When you feel yourself emotionally getting triggered, stop, pause the video, and start thinking to yourself, do some deep breathing and repeat to yourself, let's remove my emotions aside, or take the time and work through whatever emotions come up within you, so that way you can finish watching to the end the rest of the message to hopefully, get a better understanding of what I'm saying. Alrighty. So with that being said, again, the topic is, I believe that for the most part, men should have custody of the sons when the mother and the father split. Well, why is that? Let's look at this, right? How long have we been being raised, mostly, especially in the Black community, by single mothers? It's been a while now, right? It's been quote unquote a little trend for a while now. I have a question. How has that worked out for us? As single mothers raising boys to be men, how has that worked out for us? Let's look at the numbers as far as to how many Black boys, let's look at the numbers as far as to how much more likely you are to go to prison as a Black man raised in a single parent household by a single mother than you are if you were raised in a union or by your father. I never speak in absolutes. Yes, there's people that have both parents that can end up in prison. Yes, there's people that was raised solely by their dad and can go to prison or jail or whatever. Listen, nothing is ever absolutes, okay? But women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. You have a much, much, much higher risk and chance of going to jail or prison if you are brought up by a single mother alone as a Black male. Okay, this is not my opinion. This is actual facts. You can actually look into this. Okay, those men are usually go to seek father figures, and they end up finding it in the wrong spots, out in the streets, and so on. As a woman, I had to understand. I do not have any sons, but I do know that as a woman, I cannot teach a man how to be a man. I am not a man. You understand what I'm saying? Just like a man could not teach a little girl how to be a woman. He's not a woman. You understand? I cannot teach something that I'm not. I can't teach you how to be a millionaire if I ain't got millions. I have to first know how to do it and accomplish being able to actually be that in order to give you the tips and the goals on how to do it successfully. I don't know how to be a man. If I tried, I would fail tremendously. I don't know how to be a man. Okay. Even for, my children's father, I have 2 daughters. Even though me and him, do not get along at all. And I'm not here to bash him or anything like that, but we don't get along at all. And still, even with that mad tension between us, I refuse to let that interfere with him being in his daughter's lives, because I do understand that there's certain things that even girls need their fathers for. Now, he can't teach them to be a woman, but it's certain things that he can teach them on how a man is supposed to treat them, how a man is supposed to talk to them. It's very important that both man and female is involved in both little boys and little girls' lives. But I truly feel like, especially for the boys, that, as long as the father is wanting and of course willing to take sole custody of the, even if it's 50-50 custody, to where you each switch every week with the child. I just feel like the father's presence in raising and having the son is very important. And a lot of times I feel like I see a lot of people starting to do this once the son is in his teenage years. Honestly, it's almost kind of too late at that point, almost. It's just a lot harder. I just feel like it should start a lot younger. Because, the mind is very impressionable, especially when you're real little. So when a little boy is growing up and all he's seen is a woman raising him, I feel like this is where, and this is no disrespect whatsoever to the gay community. I love everybody. If you know me, I'm bisexual myself. So it's nothing against being bisexual or gay or anything else like that. But regardless, I feel like it's a lot higher of a chance for our men to turn out that way when they never seen a male role model. They did not grow up having a man show them how to be a man. All they ever seen was a woman being a woman. You understand what I'm saying? So they tend to get these feminine tendencies a lot, because that's all they grew up around. They grew up around in the hair salons and watching wigs and weaves and everything else. They grew up, watching gossip and watching, whatever the case is, women doing feminine stuff, and even a lot of times they grow up watching their mother do everything, working so hard, working multiple jobs just to make ends meet for them. So that even if they grow up not in that way, they still grow up with the mindset of, hey, my woman's supposed to work her behind off, because that's what they seen mama do all her life, day in and day out, struggling to survive. But they never seen a man busting his behind like, look, this is what I got to do for my family. Now, again, I do understand that not everybody is able to just go ahead and sit down and have a talk with the father and him, he take the kids. I understand some guys choose not to be in a child's life. I understand some of these guys are not even good father figures at all. It would be way worse letting them go get raised by him, because they may be strung out on drugs, or they may be in and out of prison themselves, or whatever the case is. It just may put the child in a much worse situation than what they would be to be with the mom. But if the father is a decent man, I didn't say perfect, I said if he's a decent man, he loves his son, he will protect and guide his son in the right way, then I truly believe that, of course, he has to be willing, and of course it's a safe environment and everything else. I feel like the child, that son or the sons, should 9 times out of 10, if that's the case, should be going to live with the father. Ladies, I know we have good intentions, and I know it is extremely, extremely, extremely hard for us to separate ourselves from our children. We carry our children in our womb, and they are there for a very long time, for almost a year. They are there within us. We have a connection to our children that, not to be funny, but that a man would never have with his children. You understand? He did not carry that child. That child was not a part of him in that manner. You understand what I'm saying? We even breastfeed our baby. Our babies suck from our breast and get the proper nutrition that they need. So there's a certain bond of connection that, yes, a mother will always have with her child. And it's not to say break that. It's not to say you can't see your child. It's not to say you can't get your child and your child can't also live with you. But I just feel for boys, we really, really, really need our fathers in the home. I mean, when you really look at it, and I know lots of us say that, oh, well, my baby daddy ain't no good. Trust me, this is something that I had to realize and work on myself. So I'm speaking from experience as well. We also have to take responsibility in the men that we are choosing to lay up and have children with as well. Because a lot of times, most of the time, we're aware that this man wasn't shit before we had kids with him. Some of us maybe were too young to understand red flags, didn't even know what they were, grew up with them, so we weren't able to even acknowledge them. But as we learn and we grow older, we get to know better. And hopefully we're not making the same mistakes and choosing the same partners. Hopefully we're choosing somebody now that, is definitely much better fit of a husband, of a, or a boyfriend, whatever you're looking for, of a father, stepfather, whatever the case is. But if we really set our emotions aside as far as, oh, I carried the child, so the child should be with me. If we really set that aside, set that emotional part aside, ladies, and we really look at the men that you're dating, most of them, I never speak in absolutes. I guarantee you, so many of our Black men that are being dated have been raised from single mother households. And it's not to say that every single person that comes from a single mother household I'm not saying that they're going to be a good or bad or whatever the case is. I'm just telling you the actual facts. Again, this is something that you can look up as far as the higher chance that they have to be locked up. They usually come from single parents households in the Black community. So that just goes to show you, how important the Black male is in the families, okay? Which is why I really need our kings as well, our Black men, to know thyself and restore themselves, heal thyself, and be very heavy presence in the families, not controlling, not abusive, but loving and protective and providing and a good man for their children and for their wife. Even if something happens to where you and the mother doesn't work, you're still heavy in that child's life, like crazy. That's very, very, very important. And again, if we set that emotional part aside, ladies, we're able to see that. Look at all these men. We dated a lot of them that were raised with no father in the household. How did that affect the way that they were with us? How many of us get these men that have been raised by single mothers that babied them? Mothers usually baby their sons, right? We don't need grown ass men who have been babied their whole life. Usually they put force on the girls to do all the cooking and the cleaning, to always be in the kitchen with them, to always be, doing the laundry and everything else and helping to take care of their younger siblings. And the boys usually get let off the hook. Now they're grown men and we're sitting here dating them. They don't know how to boil water. They don't know how to wash clothes. What's that? My mom always did this for me. Cook that. My mom and my sisters always handled that. You know what I'm saying? They can't even be a helpmate. They are a child to us. They are a liability because they've never seen a man be a man. They don't know what it is. They don't know what tools will properly go out there and cut and get in grass. They weren't taught how to hustle and get income. Even if the girls are shown mainly that, which I feel like cooking and cleaning and taking care of a family and children and stuff, those are skills that every man and woman should know, because those are survival skills, not gender roles, So everybody should know that. Everybody should know how to work and get money. These are all things I feel like everybody should be cross-trained on everything. Now, if you decide to put certain roles attached to certain things when you enter into a relationship, then so may it be. But you should still always know. You should never have to depend on another person. If you become single, what you're going to do if you don't know how to cook? You understand what I'm saying? Or if you don't know how to get money? Everybody needs to be cross-trained in every way. To fully depend on somebody and not know how to survive on your own, that's dangerous. That is a dangerous way to live. So even if you get with somebody and you guys end up having it to where, no, you don't have to do this and this and this, I'll do it. You just do this and this and this, that's cool. But still be cross-trained and know how to do it, just in case. You guys just never know. And so many of our men are not taught that. So many of us women get men that we have to train like they're like we have another baby, because they've never seen a man be the man. It's so important when they have a good, just as well as it is for women too. When they grew up having a good active father. I'm not speaking of a father who was just there, but one who was actually loving and caring for them and a provider, and who was healed and showed respect. because, you know, sometimes a very toxic parent can be just as bad or damaging as a parent that was not there. You know, both are bad ends of the stick. But I just know that women, we have failed and we will continue to fail. We are the ones who are raising these men who are growing up to be suckers, losers, don't know how to provide, not doing nothing with their lives, just on the streets all day. Most of the time, it's coming from single mother households. Now, again, I am a single mother. I'm not bashing single mothers for doing everything that they can and for being the ones to stick by their children if the father, you know, gets locked up or whether he decides to be present or not. But what I am saying, again, to those that you know fits this, if the father is wanting and willing to take the son, you know, and be the main guardian for him, to teach him how to be a man. It doesn't mean that you have to like him, ladies. It doesn't even mean that you guys have to get along and see eye to eye on everything. But you know that, listen, he's going to teach them the core values on how to be a man. He could teach them work ethic. He could teach them, you know, whatever the case is, all these things that men need to know. 9 times out of 10, the child is probably better off with the father. Boys need to see men be men. They need to. Otherwise, all they're seeing is woman be woman. And they're picking up. I see so many men with feminine tendencies. It's crazy. Like, it's true. Ladies, all of us who have been there from day one, hats off to you, salute to you. I understand there are some guys that, you know, heck no, they're not going to sign up to have their child full time or anything else like that. Like, they don't even want that kind of responsibility. So, you know, again, I understand that this is not everybody's situation. Not everybody can do this. But for those who have that opportunity, if you could sit down and talk with the man as far as like, hey, you know, especially if he wants custody and, you know, like I said, he's an overall decent guy. I truly feel like our sons have a better chance at survival in this world and at being a better and more prepared and successful man, being raised by the father than he does being raised by the mother. This is emotions set aside, because it's very hard for me to picture giving my kids up. I was a foster child, so I have a very strong and deep-rooted pain in the thought of my kids never being with me. So understand, this is coming from a person that it would be very hard to say that. But it's just me looking at this from a logic standpoint than versus an emotional standpoint. Because ladies, it's not working out for us and we have the best of intentions. We do the best that we can. We love our sons, but in reality, we cannot, nor do we know how to teach a man how to be a man. Food for thought. I love you guys. You know, I only share things that I want to help us grow. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this. What are your thoughts on it, your ins and outs on it? And again, set your emotions aside and really think about what's being said here. And I wish you all the very best. And I just want so much better for our generation. I want so much better for our men and for our women. Okay. And if you are keeping your children's father away from seeing his kids off some BS for no reason, unless he's neglecting them or abusing them, there is no reason why any man is being kept from his kids if it is not a safety situation. Okay. So let's get better as a whole family, because it's affecting our children and their well-being. They're growing up with hurt and pain because of the decisions that we are making as adults. And we have to take responsibility for a lot of the BS that our kids end up dealing with well into their adulthood and in their childhood, because we want to play get back at another partner for them hurting us. Okay. Peace and light, family.